Good evening. This is Shri here, and we're back in the United States, and we're ready to do one podcast. And this podcast is going to be slightly different. I know we just wrapped up the British Open, where Brian Harman, for 3 days, held off a furious charge from a lot of golfers to win his first major. Very impressive win for Brian Harman. And today, this is not about the British Open. I know there are other sports. The NFL is just, the training camps just started. The baseball is in full flow. But today I wanted to focus on something that is very near and dear to my heart, the sport that I grew up with playing, which is cricket. And I have done several cricket podcasts covering various test matches, the World Test Championship, a lot of the Indian Test matches, and a little bit of the Ashes. But today I wanted to cover which is cricket, which is close to home, which is in the United States. There's a league out there called the Major League Cricket that is underway right now. It's currently in the playoff. Just wanted to briefly cover what that league is about and whether cricket can indeed take a place in the American fans' interest in the United States. So, for those who don't know, Major League Cricket is a cricket league that just going on right now, and we're currently in the playoffs. There's 4 teams that are still left in the playoffs. But before we get into the actual actual games itself, I wanted to cover a little bit about Major League Cricket presence in the United States, which is going on in Texas and currently in the Raleigh-Durham Research Triangle area. And there are one of them was taking place I think in Texas, and the other one is in Morrisville Cricket Ground in North Carolina. And for those who are new to cricket, cricket in the United States may work. I mean, it's finishing up its inaugural season, and like I said, it's supported by the current Indian Premier League teams, and also some of the teams like Seattle Orcas, which is one of the teams, is supported by none other than Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, who himself is a huge cricket fan. And all the games so far, whether it was in Texas or in Morrisville, North Carolina, has been a runaway success. And the matches in Grand Prairie, which is a little more, about 6,000 to 7,000, has sold out pretty much every game. Fans have been arriving in full flow. There is almost like a party atmosphere going on there. In the traditional cricket, which goes on for 5 days or even for a day, this form of cricket, which Major League Cricket is introducing to the United States, is more, which is 20 overs, which would translate to 120 balls, which would translate to 120 pitches. And the appetite for runs is there. There's a lot of, a boundary gets 4 runs, and anything over the boundary is 6 runs. So there is a lot of, the fact that these boundaries are smaller, you are going to see a lot of 6 runs, which will equate to 1 home run. It's like a home run. So there's a lot of South Asian population, so it already has a cult following with a lot of Indian, Pakistani, and Afghanistan fans, almost like even like Australian and English fans also crowding to watch these games. So again, Major League Cricket, again, it's got the party atmosphere of the T20 cricket, which is very popular in India and other parts of the world. And there is always action throughout the 3.5 hours of the games that go on. There is never a dull moment. I was watching a few games where there's always a constant. The public address system is always alternating between pop songs and western hits. There's whistles and horns throughout the crowd after every big shot. And again, fans are encouraged to bring their own coolers of food. So it's not going to be a big cash grab at this early, but this is more a celebration of cricket, introducing the sport to American audience. Now, it's already achieved something which a lot of fans are dreaming of. Young fans, coming to these games, folks who grew up with cricket, bringing their young children to this game, introducing to the game. And cricket's always been part of my childhood. So definitely, if there's any matches that is very close to where I am, we are going to go. And I think the big thing that is going to be critical for Major League Cricket in the United States is the outreach, the education. How can you get it to the American audience? Granted, cricket has been part and parcel of a lot of people who grew up in the Indian subcontinent, or in England and Australia and in the West Indies and the Caribbean and New Zealand. But how do you capture, how does it transcend, across from these populations to the Americans? And that is going to be the key. 3 to 4 hours, this is perfect, and then nonstop entertainment is key. And I think it's never a dull moment. And even like the non-traditional fans, I've read many articles where a lot of Americans have been, taken to these games by whether they're Indian counterparts or the British counterparts at work. And while they have not understood the game itself, from what we are hearing, it's definitely that they're hooked. They want to learn the rules. They want to come back and watch more. And I think that's where it's going to get more people from the United States watching the sport, and to the point that even today the Wall Street Journal actually had an article about Major League Cricket in today's edition. So it is getting a lot of traction, not almost in the ESPNs of the world yet, because I think the United States is still has the 4 major sports. You still have football, you still have basketball, you still have baseball, and you have hockey. Again, Major League Soccer is again making its big dent into it. They've been trying to make a big dent now. I know with the signing of Messi, I think they're thinking to popularize the sport. But I do think that soccer itself, especially women's soccer, is big in the United States, and also the men's soccer is slowly finding its foot with the Major League, especially in a couple of major cities like Portland and other areas. But for cricket to succeed, this definitely needs to transcend. And I think one of the advantages, I definitely think cricket has an advantage over soccer, is that there is a lot of scoring that goes on. The match never ends in a tie. There's always going to be a result in the game. And there's almost like a party atmosphere in every cricket game. And that's, I think, would decide whether cricket will be popular. I know it is year one. And I know that, as I mentioned before, the folks from the Asian subcontinent are going to, come to these games, whether it is whether they have these games in New York or even in other areas. It is going to be popular among that audience. But I do think that over the period of time, maybe 3 to 4 years, it will start to slowly seep into a lot of the American sports fans who are looking to branch into a new sport, because they can definitely appreciate the new nuances of the game. And once they start to understand it, once they're more educated about the game, I do think that this will definitely become one of the sports in the U.S. Now, will it get to the heights of NBA or even like NFL? I think that's going to be a stretch. But I think right now, the Major League Cricket is not looking to, transplant, other sports. I think what they're trying to do is to get the buzzword, get the buzz here, and trying to see if they can get audiences to show up to these games. and then try to grow on it. Right now it's only 6 teams, and it's only, the whole season lasts only 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. But I think as they start to grow this sport next year, I think they will start to expand to more teams. They'll start to expand to more locations other than Texas and North Carolina, and then that's when it remains to be seen how this will become popular, right? So let's see where Major League Cricket takes us. I think it's really exciting that it is in the United States. I've actually watched a few games, and it's really just like the IPL, the Indian Premier League. There's a lot of action. The crowd is totally involved in it, and there's a lot of world-class players who are currently playing in the United States. And for cricketing fans, they definitely know their names. But for an average American trying to learn about them is going to be a while. But I think right now it does not matter. The name of the jersey doesn't matter. It's about, can the sport, I think, kind of transcend from the members of the Asian subcontinent into the Americans. So it remains to be seen. Really exciting that's here, and let's see where this takes us. Okay, but this is a podcast for Major League Cricket, and looking forward to comments and listening.